Okay, so after you're done painting all your swatches, and everything looks like you've got enough and you have enough lights and mediums and grays and everything, now comes the second part of the grayscale assignment. The first part was the painting part. You guys have already done that, so that's great. Now you need to sort the swatches, which means put them in order from light to dark so that you can select the ones that will make the perfect, or if not perfect, lovely, 12-step grayscale, which is what this one is. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing you need to do is cut all the swatches out. So here they are. Just take your ruler, and this is why I asked you all to paint them with a little space in between them, because you're going to line up the ruler with the bottom part, the bottom line that goes through all the swatches, okay, each of those, like this. So I'm going to start at the bottom, which for you is the top. I'm upside down from your point of view. So you can see I'm taking the ruler, I'm laying it down on that line, taking my knife, there we go, Olfa cutter. And when you're cutting the swatches, you don't really need to tape anything down, as I will be showing you in another video shortly. When you're cutting out the empty window of your illustration board that eventually the swatches will all go into, you do need to tape the board down to the cutting surface, and you need to tape the ruler down to the cutting surface too, but that comes with the third and last part of the grayscale assignment, which is the assembly. So here we go. I'm just gonna, and again, just cut nice, gently, not too fast, all the way across. Isn't that lovely? Comes right off. You don't need this. You can throw it away. Now I'm going to do it with the next row. So what I'm going to have when I'm done here are one, two, three, four, 5 rows of different grays. All right, and what they all have in common is that the bottom part of each swatch is perfectly straight. That's why you need to use the ruler. That's why you need to use the knife, because if you try to do this with scissors, you can't control them that well. And I want all the ends of each swatch to be perfectly straight so that it looks beautiful, right? So just keep doing that. And I'm obviously only doing, I just did 1 page because it's kind of boring to watch me just cut a bunch of stuff. I'm sure you agree. In fact, I will not, I'm going to turn the camera off. This video will actually be kind of in 2 parts. I'm going to turn the camera off once I have all the swatches individually cut out, okay? Because the sorting process, I will show you how it begins, but it takes a while. It takes a long time, to get all of them sorted. Even as few as these, where I've only got what, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 5. I have 30, instead of 100. So even 30 takes quite a time to get them all sorted. It's going to take you guys longer. So anyway, so I've cut them all out, and then you can, now this part you can do with scissors if you want. It's I just use the blade because it's faster. But then you want to cut the swatches into individual, pieces, and you want to cut on that space in between the swatches. And you could do, you can use scissors to do this. It's fine, because I don't care about the straightness or accuracy of the cuts in between the swatches. I really don't. I just cut this off because it's a little extra, more trash. Okay, so you want to basically cut them all out like that, okay? And I'm going to do that to all of them. Okay. All right. I tried to kind of do them in order, even though I told all of you that you don't need to, just to speed up the process for this demo. I don't want it to be too long and boring, but you do need to know how to do this in order to have a really great grayscale when you're done. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to keep them in this rough order, so when I turn the camera off and I'm sorting them, doesn't take, it does. I can do it more quickly, as you can with yours. But like I said, I'm not going to bother videoing that whole process because it just takes too long. And what you'll see is, and I'm going to show you in a second once I'm done with all of these. Okay. All right. Got them all like that. Okay. And what you're eventually going to do, just so you have a little heads up about why I'm making you do it this way, is you're going to have, what you will see is here, ta-da, so these are all the swatches, okay? And as you can see on this side, everything looks gorgeous. On this side, they're all uneven, and as these are uneven because they're, I cut them all differently and I don't really care. And no one will see this. The whole goal is you want it to look, this is what the viewer will see and the teacher will see, not anybody else. In the past, I had the students make this thing into like a little book. As you can see, it closes. The reason I did that was in the past, we were doing this in real life, and you were doing this in a classroom, and I would have to take all of your grayscales when you were done and take them home. And I would usually grade them in my studio, like looking at them very closely and making notes about whether there's a good gradation, whether there are jumps, whether there are colors that look too much the same, or grays, pardon me, that look too much the same. But none of that is going to happen now because I will not have actual grayscales. You're going to photograph them for me, and I'm grading you based on the photograph. So all you have to do is, tape the swatches down to one piece, unless you want to make a book, which is simple. You just take a board that doesn't have a window cut in it and just like a nice piece of tape, and boom, there you go. But this protected your swatches and protected your grayscales, and also allowed me to make notes. Like this was an A. There was a jump from, you can see, I gotta cover that up. These are my little notes. So A was 97 out of 100. This is a really great grayscale. But there was and I note that there's a jump from 8 to 9. It's a 12-step color scale, so it's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So there's like a bit of a jump between these two, but it was really minor. And no one has like ever a really perfect grayscale. But you can come pretty close, and this is pretty close. So anyway, when you actually assemble it, I'll show you, but you don't have to worry about this book part. All you need to do is tape the swatches down to the back of this. And I'm going to show you how to do that later. But here's the back side, and I've measured an inch on both sides so that the swatches will all line up perfectly. But again, the first thing you have to do is sort them. And in order to sort them properly, I'm just going to start it, okay, and show you what I'm talking about. Let's see, we'll use, because this is kind of obvious. It will be difficult because you will have a lot of grays that are really close to one another, and it's going to be hard to tell. So hopefully you all have some space that has good light. I'm fortunate because this is the dining room table, but I have a really good architect's lamp that I bought a couple of years ago. So I have really, really good light. It's hard to judge the differences between the grays if the light is not good. So just try to find a location to do this where you have the best light possible. But how you are going to arrange them is by overlapping them. And so I can tell right away that this is lighter than these, okay? And this one and this one. And basically, this is how I want you to do it. Now, I like to go left to right. If you want to go top to bottom, that's fine. But you're overlapping them this way. Like in fact, it's best to go from dark to light because you're overlapping on top like that. So I'm comparing the grays, lighter than this, okay, darker. So I want to go, it's like arranging cards if you're playing poker or something, but harder. Now that's a little bit lighter. Actually, no. There we go. Okay, and a little bit lighter here. That's darker. So I'm comparing them. This is darker than this one. This is also darker than this one. It's almost the same as this one. So I'll put it there for now as a placeholder. So don't worry about being like 100% accurate every step of the way. Like get close, and then as you look at the final assembly of all of your swatches, all 100 or so, you'll note, I think you'll be able to see certain areas where maybe you misjudged or misplaced the swatch. So, and white is always at the beginning, so I made sure I painted a pure white. Please note that with the pure white, even though you see the arrow, you can clearly see the pencil marks beneath it. If you want to, you can like repaint, or not repaint, paint another coat of white or two, if you want to avoid, possibly having the pencil marks showing. And that's true for any of these swatches. Like if you made one that's streaky, like even I did, because honestly I did this pretty quickly. But even I, have some that are pretty streaky, and I was trying to make them all look pretty good. If you need to paint over that, try to match the same gray, and sometimes a second coat will really improve the swatch. So if you have streaky ones, don't panic or go, oh my God, Cole's gonna hate this. Just paint another coat on top, and that usually will do the trick. Obviously, if you do it carefully and paint the swatches the way I showed you in the demo, everything should be fine the first time around. So, and I know not everybody's will be, but do the best you can. And if you need to paint another coat on top of something, that's fine. I won't notice, so it'll be okay. So this is lighter and this is lighter. Okay, and then you just keep going. This is black. Okay, so I have black at the bottom. The dark ones are kind of hard to tell sometimes, like that one. And sometimes you have to move your head. You can't see me doing this, but I'm moving my head to see the reflection of the light off the swatch. So this is black. So this is definitely lighter than that. Okay, that's definitely lighter. That's just a little bit lighter. That's lighter. And now I'll just not cheat, I'll just go faster. But I think you see the point, okay? And then what you want to do, once they're all laid out, like this, except instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's going to be 100 of them. And what you want to do is number them, okay? You can't number them till they're all laid out. And I know that putting out and overlapping 100 swatches is a chore. It is. This is actually the heart of the assignment, because painting the swatches requires some basic technical instruction from me. But anybody can paint 100 swatches that are different grays from one another. The sorting part and the final assembly is really very simple. It's this sorting part that is the most important. It's basically an exercise where you're training your eye to see subtle differences between grays, because your ability to manipulate light and dark and work with various tones like this is a key element to success in art and design of all kinds. No matter what your major is, no matter what you guys are going to do, you really need to have a good control over light and dark. Color comes later, but if you have a really good idea of what's working in terms of value, what's light, what's dark, what's close, what's not, this is a really good skill to have. And it's a skill that you learn by doing it. It's like working out. If you want to, buff up, you got to lift a lot of heavy weights. And if you don't, you're not going to buff up. And so this is basically, it's kind of training your eye to see these subtle differences and make decisions about what's lighter or darker, by just giving you, you're creating the raw ingredients, which are the swatches, and then you have to train your eye to really look and study and make judgments about what's light or dark. And of course I will help you through this sorting process once I show you how it's done. But I'm gonna, what you do is you number the swatches obviously on a part that isn't painted. And what I'm gonna do now is turn the camera off and sort all of mine and show you how you do it, because you can't do it until you have white up here and black down here. You can do this in rows. They don't have to connect. Some students like to do these serpentine, like a long line, or I like to do it in rows. It's simpler. And I'll show you how to number them, but again, you can't number them until they're all ordered. You can't, if I do it now, I don't know what, I only know because I know that there are, oh good, I just looked out the window and my Amazon memory cards just arrived, so that's good. I know that that black is going to be 30 because there's 30 swatches, and I know that this is going to be white is number 1 because it is always going to be the first swatch. But I don't know what number 2 or 3 or 4 or 16 or 17 are until I sort. So don't number them until you're done. So what I'm going to do now is turn the camera off, sort them, then come back and show you the numbering system and how to sort them and how to prepare them for presentation to me, so I can help you, because you're going to make changes. The first time you take a picture of the 12 swatches, it probably is not going to be the final one. Like, you're going to need to make different selections, or you're going to have jumps or grays that are two the same, and we'll talk about that later. But I'll turn the camera off, come back, and you'll see a whole you'll see 30 swatches in order from white to black, numbered, and then I'll show you what you do from that. So turning the camera off, but I'm going to edit it, so what's going to happen after I'm done, you won't see a break. It'll just go straight into the sorting part.